Hey there, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Jason Boyer here with this weather update. You know, we've seen the peak of fall color already in the high elevations, and really a lot of that is now down to the lower elevations at this time. The problem is we have been very dry, and I think that really knocked a lot of these leaves down a little prematurely this year. Speaking of that dryness, we've only had 0.05 of an inch of measurable rain in the last 2 weeks. That is very little, folks. And the air is super dry, the winds are picking up, and this is leading to another risk for high wildfire danger. Heads up in all these areas through at least 7 o'clock this evening. You should avoid burning, okay? If you do burn, you should have a way to put out that fire and always watch it, never leave it unattended. The big story into tomorrow morning is the coldest air of the season arriving. Look at these lows. Freezing or colder in sheltered valleys, folks. We are going to get close in Asheville. Down to 33 is my forecast. So it's within shot here in terms of getting to freezing. We have yet to be there so far this fall season. And that is why you see a freeze warning, because it's the first freeze of the fall season, right? We're coming out of summer into fall. And of course, we're going to be dealing with this, the cold air. So it's likely going to be the end of the growing season for a lot of places. Now, beyond tonight, you may not see freeze warnings issued again unless we actually see some places avoid the freeze. All right, this is when we typically see our first freeze dates. In Asheville, it occurs around the 20th of October, but a lot of places out here to our west are already late in terms of when they should see their first freeze. It should be by mid-October in most cases, and even sooner in some higher elevations. All right, so now we turn our attention beyond this cold to when we can expect some rain, because we need it desperately. Here's the upper air pattern. This is a low pressure system. That's the energy over the four corners of the U.S. that will be coming east. This is a good sign. This is a good soaking amount of rain over the next 7 days. We could see as much as 2 to 3 inches in the red areas, and maybe more than that in areas over the high elevations of the Black Mountains and southern Yancey. Now, does this cause flooding concerns? Not at this point, because the ground is super dry. The rivers are really low. They haven't had a lot of water in them. So spreading this out over 7 days is actually going to be fairly okay for us, okay? We'll be watching that closely just in case. Tropical Storm Melissa, still a problem, and a major hurricane expected here in the coming days as it continues to drift off to the west. This ultimately will move to the northeast and move into the Atlantic and not be a problem for the United States. We'll talk more about that too, and the impacts in the Latin American countries for the Caribbean. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.